Welcome to The Dash. I'm Tre Gammage, and joining me today, Haven Rap. Millions of views over his career, still only 22 years old, but has been rapping for over 10 years. Coming out soon is his brand new project, Moments, the new EP that chronicles the moments that we experience in life. The ups, the downs, the smiles, the frowns, the joy, the sin. It's a great conversation, and Haven even flipped the script on me a little bit and did some interviewing in the opposite direction. So we talk about today taking that leap. Why do you do what you do? How to inspire special things and make that transition. I myself just turned in my letter of resignation. It's time. I feel like it's ready to take that leap. Things aren't clear all the way, but I see the opportunity. I see the chance, and I see the weight being pulled in that direction. So I want to take the leap. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and make sure you check out the show notes at tregammage.com/the dash. Sit tight and enjoy the show. This is The Dash.
Up until now, I'm almost ready to take that leap, but like I haven't taken that leap because it's very scary. It's like, man, if I don't have a job, like I know I can do the best things if I don't have a job, but if I don't have a job, it's not stable, it's not secure. Then I'm like, what if I fall flat on my face? I'll be broke. I'll be this.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Scared to take that leap. You know what I'm saying? And now I finally worked up the courage to actually take that leap. And when you really think of it, it's not as scary as what it sounds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we feel a sense of security by having a job that day. There's that all the time. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, your happiness is everything. So like, let's say I'm going to my job and I'm like severely unhappy.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, I know it's paying the bills over and I'm unhappy and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. What are you doing it for? Yeah, you're doing it for the money, and you might have to cut a couple things out, like if you were to take that leap and be happy and doing what you really love doing. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, life is about happiness. So that's kind of where I'm at, bro. Like, if the opportunity comes to where I can take a leap and really have a good chance of being able to survive while taking that leap and while being happy, bro, I'm going for it, bro. Because before I never, and that's what, honestly, I'm getting into some deep shit right now. That is what stopped me from, I feel like, reaching my maximum potential at the time, bro. I never took that leap.
Yeah.
Like, I had an opportunity to sign with a PR firm in New York.
I remember these things.
I almost hopped on the plane. You remember that?
Yeah.
I hopped on the plane, I got to the airport, and I was about to hop on the plane, and I got a bad feeling because I think I felt like things weren't right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think it was more of me being scared to take that leap.
Of course.
And ever since then, I kind of stopped. I slowed down, got into one of my little droughts, had writer's block and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And now, looking back, I don't regret it.
Yeah.
But it makes me realize, like, yo, you got to take that leap next time you get it, man.
Yeah.
And we don't get that many chances. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So but you know, Haven, I'm starting to get it. Like, you're not alone in that. And, you know, getting on the plane, because you just went out to Cali this summer. You know what I'm saying? That was an attempt, but it's hard. It's scary. How do you? I'm looking at it, and it starts with your passion. You know what? And I looked at the root words of passion. Passion means to suffer for. What are you willing to suffer for to get what you want? So that faith to leap starts with the burn in you, because I know you have the burn. I feel it in vulnerable. I feel it in environment. I feel it in those things. It's a freaking burn for the work and the things that you do, and that passion leads you to your purpose. And your purpose, that's the reason why you're doing everything that you're doing. That's it. Like, what pain in my soul. Like, I stood in front of, it was one of the hardest things I ever had to do, Haven. I spoke to some families who had their children were killed in some way by car accident. Someone was shot, and I think one was an infant. And I had to stand in front of that room and give words of encouragement. The only thing that I could think of was, it's great to be grateful. And I felt a burn. I was crying. I was so emotional. And what I felt was the pain was not because I understood the pain that they felt, but I was hurting because I did not know what they felt. And why I was crying too is because the work that I do is to help keep one of those kids from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. If you could be listening to this podcast instead of being in the car, I mean, and that's the thing too. It has nothing to do with really your actions, but it's just the place. You know, a lot of things that you can't change. So you have your what and your how, your passion and your purpose, and then you have your process. So I think that's you're on your fourth take now. So now you're getting it going. Now you got it nice and ready to go. You got it packaged up. So now you can process this and keep it going. So I think you're ready to leap now, but your attempts are not in vain. You know, the when you take that leap, you tried it. How many of your friends can't try? You know, everybody can talk noise about, look, he tried it. Look, he back right here. He had to this, that, whatever. What you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? You know, I am looking to make myself better, and I was talking to Ashley Varner. She's coming up soon, and she was talking about how she was auditioning for America's Next Top Model. And she had failed twice, and she was like, it wasn't really failing because you learn so much about yourself in that process. So every time you just attempt, I tell people to get comfortable with failing. And whether you listen to this wisdom or somebody else's wisdom, your lessons are going to come to you. You're going to make your good, your bad, your right, your wrong, whatever. So just flow with them. You know, whatever your decisions are, make them work for you.
Exactly. And it's funny that you say that because I tell people all the time, I'm saying, so right now I'm on a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy part that a lot of people don't understand is they can look and see failure. You know what I'm saying? But they don't understand that I'm having a great time on this journey doing something that I actually love.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people from the outside in they're not doing anything that they love in the first place. Like, let's say, I'll give you an example. If somebody's going to school because for computer science, they hate coding, but you know they're like, I'm just sit at this desk, code this, and make a lot of money every year. You know what I'm saying? But they don't love it.
Mm-hmm.
So really, who's the fool here? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on a journey right now, and that's what I call it. I'm literally on a journey, working towards doing what I love doing. In instance that you just reminded me of with Ashley Varner, it brought something to mind. So recently, I had an audition with somebody from ABC, I believe. They reached out to me. I don't know if I ever told you about this, but they reached out to me, and they said, "Hey, we are starting a TV show called America's Boy Band or something like that.
Wow.
We feel like Haven would be awesome to be on the show. Blah blah blah. We like his music in the office. So we want to set up an interview, like a Skype interview." I was like, cool, like, and thinking in the back of my mind, like, I would not be good at the process. I'm going to take any opportunity that comes in front of me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, let's do it. So we sat down for the interview. I killed the interview, like, from a personal standpoint. But when it comes to singing, I don't really sing. Like, I don't got, like, a soulful, you know what I'm saying, voice. Like, they kind of wanted to be, like, a Making the Band or something.
Okay.
So I sing.
I want you to be Willie Taylor.
My rap is good and stuff like that. And then she asked me a question, and she was like, so do you dance? I was like, yeah, even knowing well that I do not dance and I never have danced in my life. I was like, yeah. So she was like, hey man, bust the move. I was like, it ain't enough room in this little space to really be dancing like that. So she was like, all right, well, after this video. After this audition, you send a video of you dancing.
Dang.
And you send it over to me. So I got off. Yeah, bro. I got off. I go to my best house. I go home, and I look up like Chris Brown choreography. I started looking stupid. I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. So long story short, is I told her that I couldn't do it. I'm not a dancer. I never should have said that. But what that made, and I know for 100% fact they're not going to reach out to me because my singing was mediocre. But what it made me realize is I tried, and that was something that I was nervous of doing in the first place. I tried, and it was still fun, even though it wasn't the best fit for me. And by me trying, I realized that it wasn't the best fit for me, which makes me feel good.
Right.
Because like if I didn't try and I didn't find that out, I would have had regret, and I'm like, man, I could have been on there, and that would have been awesome. You know what I'm saying? But now I know that that's not what's for me, and that makes me happy.
No.
And that kind of made me come to terms with the fact that I'm not going to be on there, but it's not even good for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the cool thing is there's no excuse for experience. Nothing that you can do be substituted for experience. You know, the wisdom that we get from people that are elders is principles. They can provide the principles of the things that we have, but the experience of trying and not winning, failing, losing, winning, whatever you want it to be, whatever happened, that experience alone gets you into a nice trajectory. So, you know, the way I think about it, even on the journey, there is no destination. The journey that's what life is. So
yes,
there's not really a place that you get to, because if you realize, for myself, I had this childhood dream to play college football, Division I football, did it. Play on ESPN, did it. 100,000, did it. Go abroad, did it. With everything that I've wanted in my head, I've been fortunate enough to achieve. And every time that I set those goals, I think in my mind that I've arrived. I'm here. Money's going to start coming in. My world's going to open up. I'm going to get these kids. Something just amazing is going to happen. Nothing happens. You are always the same exact person. And that person has always been in you. Everything that you need to be Haven, to be Tre, to be Tony Robbins, to be whoever it is you love is already in you. And it's been in you, but you just got to kind of bring it out.
Right, and that comes back to fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like all these things can fill you with joy. You feel like you're on this road, and like, let's say I were to make it rapping or whatever, that's going to take me to and bring me to my happiness. You know what I'm saying? When that's not true, dude. Like, look at all these people who have done whatever they wanted to do, and they're still not happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, or what they thought that they wanted to do, and they're still not happy because they thought that the money or whatever was going to fulfill them. You know what I'm saying? But you know that, like, in music, let's take that as an example. Doing good things. I've been making music since I was 12.
Okay.
And I'm 22 now, so about 10 years.
Wow.
But like, the more music that I start to make, bro.
You're a master now.
Because I start to realize, why am I doing this? And no, man, I'm still working.
But you're a master though. That's your craft.
I start realizing, why am I doing this? That's true. I'm trying, man. I'm trying to put my hours in. But like, I'm starting to realize. So I'll make a song, right, and it doesn't make me happy. But I'll make it and people like it, which is kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? But then I'm like, so why did I really make that song? Did I make that song for them, or did I make that song for me? Because if I made it for them, I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at somebody like Erykah Badu, for example.
For sure.
You know, she makes what she wants to make, how she feels, and she is still successful. And you see, she's happy. She's living at a spiritual level that a lot of people can't really comprehend with. You know what I'm saying? Because she is doing it for her. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of goes full circle, man. Well, sorry if I got on the side.
No, that's perfect. But because the best way that you can help people, what we do is the same thing, Haven. I'm trying to I'm trying to solve somebody's pain. When you're singing the song, you're addressing pain. That's what business is. That's what life is. The music that you make is soothing to somebody else. It's making them feel good because somebody else is going through that same pain and they got over it. So when people hear you speak, the best way that you can help somebody else is by helping yourself. And that's the great thing about being an artist, is that by growing my business, growing my brand, means that I have to become a better person. So when I write the songs, Stephen Furtick, a great pastor in North Carolina, talks about you have to do it even when you don't feel it. When you have a higher calling, when you have this higher faith, when you have this higher talent, you're not always going to feel like it. You're not always going to be motivated to do it. You're not always going to feel like preaching. You're not always going to feel like rapping. It's not always going to feel like it, but it's yours and it's your message, and what you give is yours to give. You get to keep that choice. You get to keep that choice of what you give. So I don't ever think it's wrong to give. I procrastinate so many things myself, and even when I think I'm being honest with myself, I'm not. Because there's always a reason. If I don't achieve something that I want, there's a reason that I'm not following through. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah, bro. I feel that 100%. So, I got a question for you, actually. I heard a quote one time that said a good interview isn't just when one person's interviewing the other person.
Uh-oh.
So I got a question for you.
Okay.
what would you on your journey and how you're on the journey that you're taking right now, what would you say your number one biggest, I'm trying to think of the proper word, struggle? What is your biggest struggle, and how do you plan on overcoming it? And I'm not talking about something that you previously overcame. I'm talking about something that you
right now.
And you have a plan of action to overcome.
Well, I was talking to you earlier about just writing stuff down. I struggle with my thoughts. I think why I don't follow through. Truthfully, I don't follow through. There's no reason that I shouldn't already be where I want to be, besides the fact that I sit down and watch TV instead of doing 10 minutes of work, or that I stay up an extra hour late instead of waking up an hour early, or that I don't do the little, and I preach on them and I harp on them and I try so freaking hard to do them, but missing 2 days throws me in a whirlwind. So it's really it's a constant surrender to God. It's a constant giving to faith, because I'm at a point now when you get to that process standpoint and taking that leap, I realize there's nothing that I can do to be successful or not. All I can do is work where I'm at. Exodus 14:14 says, be patient, or you have only to be still and the Lord will fight for you. So that's what I try to do. I try to pound my boots right where I'm at. In the words that I get in my head, I document them. I document the ideas to me, because your purpose, your journey doesn't just come to you. You have to catch it and go along for the ride. God will meet you where you at. Your faith will meet you where you at, wherever you at. But you have to go. You have to want to go with it. It's your journey. And so there's a destination that you're supposed to reach, but your decisions are what's going to get you there. So it's making those decisions to be a better person. I have bad habits. I sin. I do stuff I'm not supposed to do every day. And I'm sorry for that, and I try to get better for it. But I also don't think that's a struggle that's going to stop. So in that, I don't beat myself up for it. I don't kill myself for it. I try to get better on it. And I'm putting together a program right now that's not only for me, but it's for everybody. And I feel like it's going to be universal, because it's applied to everything that I've tried to apply it to so far. So again, I don't want to talk too much bigs on it yet, but it'll be out. But it's that journey and documenting that. I think that answers your question. Good question.
Dude, that's beautiful, bro. I think that's great, man. Especially when you can apply something that you've personally been through. I feel like people seem to take it, what I'm saying, a little bit more. And something going off of that, I was actually listening to a podcast as well, and he said it was for like happiness study. I do a lot of different research and studies on happiness, because I want to be happy. I mean, that's the reason for everything. But he said, generally, some percentage, 90-something% of Americans feel unhappy when they're not productive. And when they're not productive, their mind starts to wander. And 90% again of those people whose mind wanders tend to think negatively.
Yeah.
So let's say you're not being productive and you just get home, you're like, I'm tired, I'm not going to be productive, I'm just going to do nothing and just let my mind wander. Bad things tend to happen when that actually happens, because we're not designed to just think positive. You know what I'm saying? We don't come out of the womb just in all happiness and all glory. We're humans. We like to look at the negative side of things for some reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So something that I've been working on too when it comes to being productive is always stay doing something. Like, I know I don't always do it, you know what I'm saying? But I struggled with it for a while, and I'm getting better because I'm trying to always stay thinking of something positive and stay doing something at all times. You know what I'm saying? Because then you'll reach your goals. You'll reach goals specifically if you do that, man. And you can't really go wrong if you stay productive.
I agree. And you know what? I think even to go with what you said, I call it art. I'm an artist. My job, what is life? It's art. What do I do? It's art. And art is first, it's the awareness. What's going on? Where am I at? What's happening in my life? Second is the reflection. What's the reason that this is happening? When I look back on time, why is this happening? What is going on? And the T is transition. Transition to where you want to be. It's art. It's art. And you become, check this out, Haven. Check this out, Haven. You become an artist, the IST, you inspire special things. So, you go through art and you become an artist at the end. And that's kind of, and that applies to everything. I'm writing a speech on how to facilitate your message, and you apply art to it. You make people aware of what they're missing or the pain in your own life or the pain that you're solving, you reflect on how you got there or what you went through, the reason why it happened and how you got out, and then you transition, you provide the process of what you went through to make that happen. So in that, it goes hand in hand with just about everything. So, and of course we want to inspire special things. So whatever your thing is, be an artist.
Dude, that is amazing. That's cold, man. I think a part in that stood out to me the most was the end, bro. The inspire special things. Like, that is what people don't understand about art. Is the best art is the stuff that's going to inspire people.
Wow.
Because when you inspire people, good things come and more things are created. So I feel like the finest art inspires people, man.
That's real.
That's cool. I really like that.
Well, what I love so much about it too is that it's for everybody. That applies to being a mother, that applies to being a father, that applies to being a child. Everything that you do, your life, I call it the dash. Your life is made up of art. What are you kind of making with it? What are you making special out of your life? Because you're unique at the end of the day.
Yes.
And truthfully, the closer that I give up, the more I give up my strength and the more that I acknowledge my weakness, the more creativity comes and the more flow happens, because it's not me, but it's my thing is how to help people find their purpose. I call it facilitating purpose. So for me, that means how do I make purpose easier? And the best thing that I can do to think of that is to live in my purpose. It's to do something that I love every day. And what's so inspiring about that is that when somebody else sees me loving what I do and loving my work and living my passion, living my purpose, and living my process, that will inspire somebody else to do the same kind of thing. So every time I speak, I don't care so much if you remember what I say or quote me or whatever like that, but that you're inspired to live your dreams or make yourself better and change your world.
Yes, bro. Yes, I think that's beautiful, man. That's what makes you so special, bro. Is the fact that you, just like we were talking about before, vulnerable, making yourself vulnerable to your audience and everything. And that's what makes you so great. And that's what sets you aside from everybody, because you do make yourself vulnerable. And people see that, which is, I love that.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's a great transition into your music too, because that we have a song together on Spotify off of your last EP, Friday at Midnight, called Vulnerable as well. And that's been almost a year now. I don't know if you know that, but it's been about a year since your last EP dropped, and a lot has changed in that time frame. But when I go back, again, even the poem that I wrote, I remember where I was when I wrote that and how I felt then and how I feel about it now. And just the pain and the passion in your voice, what is your reason for what you do? Because you're doing the same thing. You just gave me my credence and my credit. But when I watch Haven, when I listen to your music, you inspire me to live my dream. So it's hand in hand. That's the power of living your purpose, is that it's reciprocal and it just keeps going. So what drives you in your music?
So what drives me in my music, I'll tie that into the project that I actually just finished.
Perfect.
It'll be coming out in May. But I'll tie it to the project. It's going to be titled Moments. And it basically sums up that question. So the whole purpose behind Moments is the fact that we're all humans. And I've came to terms with this because from the start of my music career, I was kind of catering to not really, I was at a different place in life, you know what I'm saying? I was like young, I was catering to what I grew up on, which was religion and being a good person and not cussing and, you know what I'm saying, living
it was your
how
truth.
I wanted me to live, right? But as I started getting a little bit older, and as I got older, I started realizing that I'm going to start living for myself as well as inspiring others to live for themselves. So this project is actually the first project where I'm really coming out and I'm like, okay, I'm titling it Moments because us as humans, we all go through different moments in life. Sometimes I'm like, man, I want to be in love. One moment I want to be in love. The next moment I'm like, man, I don't want to have love. I just want to mess around. The next moment I'm like, yo, I really want to help people today. Like, and the next moment I'm like, man, I just want to be secluded. I don't want to have anything to do with anybody. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's important as a person to understand that we we all are different, and we all go through different moments and different transitions in life. So it's good to embrace that, and I feel like this tape kind of does so. Like the first song starts off with me saying, yeah, I used to be this rapper, but this is who I am now. Next song goes into a transition of me spitting like I used to spit. Then the next song goes into a transition of me singing. Then the next song it's all transitioned out perfectly to reflect the trend and the theme of the album, because I want it to be like, yo, we all have different moments, we all live for different things, and that's kind of where I'm at musically right now, and that's kind of what I stand for. I'm all about not judging anybody, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you can hear me say something, and if you heard that, you'd be like, man, this guy's grimy, I don't like him, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the next day, I can go out and say something totally different to another person, and they have a complete different look at me.
Perspective,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what the beauty in life is, man. That's why it's so important to live these different moments and to just embrace it. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm at with my music right now.
So what brought you to that head? What happened in your life to make you realize that was important for you, not only to document, but to document and share with the world? Because is this a platform? Is this where you're trying to jump off from to take that leap?
Yes. Yep. Yes, this is where I'm trying to jump off to take that leap, because I've been in a lot of different situations in my life. Like, I've gone from public school to private school to college to just different. I've been in so many different environments, and I've experienced so many different things. And I realized I've been judged so many times in my life, and every single time was a different moment in my life. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important to really tackle this and talk about it.
Wow.
Because I'd like to see a change. I like to make music and make change, because I mean, change is always good. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm going from. I'm trying to take this and run with it and just inspire people to be themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's so important, especially in today's society. And
For sure.
The cool thing about today's society is people are a lot more accepting, and it's a progression, and it's going to get even better, especially if artists like us keep doing what we're doing.
That's true. Thank you for saying us in artists. I appreciate your artistry there.
Hey, man. That's what we do.
Now, people don't move when things are feeling good. People move when they're fed up. What made you fed up to say that now is the time that I'm going. Now is the time that I'm all in, that I've had enough. What hurt you bad enough to change?
What hurt me was, I'll be honest, I was in a relationship for 3 years. I just recently got out of one. And I found myself very unhappy, very, very unhappy, to the point where I had to cut it off. You know what I'm saying? And I had to think to myself, okay, I'm focused on myself right now. Why am I so unhappy? And I realized, because I shifted my love from music onto a girl. And I know that music has always been there for me. And music is the basis of where my love is at right now. And I know that that's the most special thing to me. So I lost touch of the music. So I was like, when I get upset for some odd reason, I always turn to music, and I write music. It makes me feel a little bit more emotionally stable. So I was like, you know what? I wrote a song like a week after I broke up with old girl, and that song was called Wait. And I actually woke up in the middle of the night and wrote it because I couldn't go to sleep. But after I wrote that, I was like, you know what? This is what I need to be doing for the rest of my life.
Wow. And
at that moment, I was like, yo, this is what makes me happy, because it brought me out. I'll basically say I was depressed. It brought me out of my depression. It brought me back to where I once was when I was happy doing music.
That's giving me goosebumps.
And that ties back into and that ties back into the whole Moments talk. Because as I started getting back into the music, I noticed a lot of my old fans aren't messing with me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And my fan base is a lot smaller now than what it used to be, because my old fans aren't messing with me because they're like, yo, you cuss now, you do this. And that's the inspiration behind Moments as well, because I want them to know I'm still the same dude, and I still can make good music, but I don't want you to judge me for it.
Right.
I've been through so many different moments, and this is where I'm at right now.
Like they've always been the same person.
So basically, I don't know, man. I know this is my luck. Yeah, exactly. Because we all change. I was like this when I was 14. Now I'm 22. You think I'm not gonna be different? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So that's basically where it all comes in. And man, if I could just tell anybody, dude, the biggest thing that I can preach to anybody is what are you doing and why are you doing it? And what do you want to be doing? And why aren't you doing it?
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would just encourage people to think about that.
Yeah.
And try to be happy and continue to
for
walk
sure.
that road.
I that's a good one. For myself, I say, why do you do what you do, and is it worth it? Those are my two questions to help me stay on track. Now, with moments, that reminds me of you're talking about your progression through Haven. It reminds me of Malcolm X. One of my favorite people, or my favorite person of history, is Malcolm X, and part of it is because of his awareness of his transitions and reflections. So he grew up poor black man, and father was killed by the KKK. His mother was in an insane asylum. He was going to jail for rape and adultery and robbery and bigotry and all these crazy things, but he found who he believed was God at that time in the Nation of Islam, Allah and the Prophet Elijah Muhammad, and he did everything for that, so far as to call white people the devil and the oppressors and all these things and those things, and he believed it to his absolute core until he went to Mecca, until he took his pilgrimage, until he went to see the world and recognized that there is blonde-haired, blue-eyed people that believe the same thing that I do. And while black nationalism and the fight of black unity is important and still is today, maybe the way that we're going about it isn't right. And that's when they don't talk about this, because Malcolm was killed. He created the Muslim Mosque Incorporated, changed his name to El Hajj El Malik Shabazz, and was accepting of cultures to help in that fight. So that reminds me of moments. There was moments in his life. He never apologized for what he believed in his life. He never apologized for the Nation of Islam, for anything he said, and he said some crazy things because that's what he believed at that time. And when at that moment, that's your truth.
Right.
At that moment, that's your truth. And you can't apologize for that. I said what I believed to be true at the time. In retrospect, I can't go back and change anything. Right. Apologizing isn't going to do anything for you. So that's my 2 cents for Malcolm X there. And at some point, it takes something to get fed up to change. Malcolm X changed there. Same for Martin Luther King. Before he died, people don't know, in Mississippi, he had this bloody Sunday speech, and he talked about the other America. I gave a Black History speech on this for Martin Luther King Day, but he talked about the bigotry. He talked about the racism. He talked about the discrimination. He talked about how he was fed up and how he wasn't going to turn the other cheek anymore, and that he was pretty tired of what they were going through, but it took a moment in time, a moment in history, at least from our standpoint, to change. You're always leading up to that kind of transition and that progression, but it's that moment that gives you the aha to transition and get over the hump. What makes you feel like you're ready now?
Exactly.
What makes you feel like you're ready now to take that leap? What's the difference? What did you learn?
What I learned was, I was just talking with my friend about this the other day, the fact that we only live once, so why not?
Touche.
You know, like I really thought about that. Like I'm 22 right now. I'm turning 23 in a couple months. Well, probably about 6 months. But I realized, what am I doing? Like, why work for someone else and build their empire and not be happy just to get older and not be happy? Why? What's the point of that? There's no point of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of people, they want a family and stuff like that. And yes, it's having a family is beautiful, but I want a family too, and I want to be able to provide for my family and still think of me at the same time and still be happy, because my family life is going to be happier. Everything around me is going to be better. I'll be able to teach my kids and set an example for my kids to go ahead and do what they want to do with their life. You know what I'm saying? So we're not getting any younger. So why are we not going and striving for our dreams, man? You know what I'm saying? Striving towards those goals that we want to accomplish, man. And really, I don't know. I just believe that, I don't know, man. I believe that if you're passionate about something, you should go and try to get it at any means. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
And I know it's very scary, but once you actually go for it and you get over that fear, it's probably the best feeling ever. Like,
right.
I can give you an example. Like when I was younger, I was scared to go off the diving board type. You know what I'm saying? But once I actually jumped off the diving board, I went back and did it 100 times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you have a goal and you know that you want to do something and you're just scared of it, I say go ahead and do it. And then I guarantee you'll feel better about it. I mean, unless it's going to have a negative impact on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think you mentioned how what it sounds like to me, at least, is it started as a passion. For me, speaking started as a passion, but it grew into a purpose. And it sounds like when you said, this is what I can do with the rest of my life, you found a reason and a purpose for doing that. So your passion will lead you to your next step, which is your purpose and your reason for living. So that's pretty tight that you find that. And unfortunately, most people don't find it. You know, you look at 40, 50-year-old, the average American, unfortunately, is not where they want to be financially. It's not where they want to be in a relationship. It's not where they want to be in their life. It's only like 10% that is at a quartile where I would say from the outside looking in, you're happy. You don't know what people are going to make them happy on the inside. So in that includes the people that are living in the projects, broke with no lights, and absolutely happy with their life and progressing the way that they want to go. There's still only 10% of people that are kind of happy in life. So what is it about you now that will make you be happy or achieve that happiness, maintain that happiness?
That's a great question. I always thought that, like, I always, if I put a gauge on it, like, okay, once I become famous and I can do this for every single day for the rest of my life, that's what's going to make me happy. But I try to actually pull back. I try to pull back from that and say, I don't want to put a gauge on it. And I don't want to say that that's what's is going to make me happy, because what if it doesn't? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to find happiness through everything else in life, through the way that I think, through my perspective on life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do things that's going to help improve that. So, like, will I be happier when I become a famous rapper or whatever and I start making money? I don't know. I hope so.
Right.
Something that I'm working towards, because it does make me happy actually doing that. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I'd probably just say do the things that make you happy on a daily basis to reach your full happiness. I don't know if anybody can ever reach their full happiness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if happiness is a goal. It can either be a goal or it can be a lifestyle. I choose for it to be my lifestyle currently.
That's fair. Now, let me put you on the spot for the last little question we're going to have here. What is it, what do you do every day to assure that you're going to reach your goals or your ambitions and dreams?
Definitely. So I try to wake up, I'll start at the beginning of my day. I try to wake up 15 minutes earlier. I heard some study that said if you wake up 15 minutes earlier, you'll be happier. I try to wake up 15 minutes earlier. Now, when I say try, I mean I really try. Sometimes I really fail. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I wake up.
Right. You attempt.
Right. But I'd say, man, I'm slow. So I go into every single day. I go into. Are you good?
Yeah. You're good. You good?
All right, good. So every day I look at what is my perspective. So what am I trying to accomplish today? I know a lot of times before I go to sleep, I'll try to think of goals and what I want to accomplish the next day or whatever. But that's not realistic. I mean, like, once I get into the habit, it might be realistic of doing that every single night. You know what I'm saying? But before I make every decision that I try to make within a day, I try to look at what my perspective is going to be. I believe perspective has a lot to do with your happiness.
For sure.
So like I can go into my day with the perspective of, man, today's gonna be a long day. I gotta work 8 hours, then I gotta go to school, then I gotta write a verse after that. Or today's gonna be a great day. I'm gonna be really productive, which is gonna bring me a lot of happiness. Work 8 hours, get a lot of money. I get to go to school. Because a lot of people can't even go to school. I'm still in school working towards something, and I love making music, so I can write this verse and maybe even write a second verse and make an actual song that's going to be on my next project. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing I do every day to try to remain happy is keep a positive perspective and don't ever look at anything, even if it's challenging, negative. Because once you start looking at it negatively, it becomes like a nuisance.
perspective. I think in taking the leap and really just taking a chance on yourself, it's all about that first step. Just making the first momentum building step towards your goal or towards your dream, progressing in the direction that you want to go. I remember in the summer of 16, when I first met Brian Forte, who was in episode 1 of The Dash, he told me that once you take that leap, doors will start to open up that you didn't even know was there. And he was absolutely right. There's doors, there's fears that are in your head, that are in my head, that are not real. They're just not true. Simply put like that, they're made up, they're false evidence appearing real, just fear. Face those fears, run right at them. What would the world be like if you decided to take the leap and live your dream? At the end of May, or May 19th and May 20th, check out Shift Community at tregammage.com/events. Really wanting to make a change in the community and shift, create, provide opportunities to grow, lead, and experience. Hope you enjoy your day and come back next time. This is The Dash.